I'm so happy that we're all here together fighting for what's right in the city. For too long, what has happened is this is a complete sham. This is a complete sham. You couldn't write a book about this and even believe that this is actually happening in the city of New York. That we are taking parkland and we are converting it into a mall in complete refute of the agreement that was made in 2008 when this came before the city council. When this became before the city council, it was one thing. And now what's become is a complete fiction. The city of New York, the mayor's office upholds a complete sham on the city council. What was supposed to happen here was the city was supposed to build affordable housing. That's out of the deal. That's completely out of the deal. What was never contemplated was that you would take parkland and build a parking mall. And I just want to go over a couple of points before it starts pouring out that this is a complete sham. This mall should not be built on parkland. The city administrative code does not contemplate a mall, and that is a big part of this. No massive development should ever be built without the ramps being built first on the Van Wyck Expressway. That's another fiction that the city has purported. They say that because of affordable housing, they need to build the ramps on the Van Wyck Expressway. But with a shopping mall that's going to cause thousands and thousands of people into that area every day, they don't need the ramps for that. This is a favor to Sterling Equities and the Wilpon family. It should not be allowed to happen. So we can't have this massive redevelopment. And to take private property, and this is the basic point that we're trying to deliver to you, in any democracy where you're taking businesses, just because you don't like the way these businesses look, a vibrant business community, and you're stealing these businesses and you're stealing the property away from private property owners in the city of New York, and you're handing it over to Sterling Equities and the Wilpon family, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of property for $1. For $1. And then you're making up all these remediation arguments, which they have absolutely no proof of whatsoever. And they're handing the Wilpon family and Sterling Equities $99 million to clean up an area that doesn't even need to be cleaned up. Is a disgrace. All New Yorkers should be disgraced over what has happened here. And we need to stop it. This was a gift, a $1 gift given to billionaires so they could build what they want across from Citi Field because they don't like the way it looks. This is an absolute disgrace, and I'm so happy that we have a grouping of elected officials here, and we have a grouping of business owners and other people as well. So without any further ado, I want to introduce to you one of the champions in the city of New York who was a councilman at the time in 2008 and who did vote against this. And I'd like to introduce a friend to small business, a friend to property owners, and a friend to what's right in this city and not taking away property from the citizens just to do someone a favor. And that's Senator Tony Avella.
Thank you. You know, I could probably stand here for the next 2 hours and go over every single thing that's wrong with what's happening in Willets Point. I'm happy that, I shouldn't say I'm happy, but I'm proud of the fact that time has proven me right when I was only one of 2 people to vote against this original project in the city council. First, it was the use of eminent domain to take away the private businesses of families who worked for generations to improve a piece of property that the city neglected for decades. Then it was, well, let's displace workers, 3,000 workers, people of color who rely on their jobs in this area. Then it was, well, we're going to relocate these businesses, and we're going to relocate you as a group. Well, that didn't happen, and now they're evicting these businesses. Then there was the ramps. This is part of the transportation improvement that was supposed to be done. That's not being done. The original premise, we have to do this in one big project, and we have to get everybody out. whether it's we buy them out or we condemn them through eminent domain. Now that's not happening. Now we have the Mets who want to build a huge mall on parkland. Parkland should be sacred. This whole deal, from beginning to where we are now, and unfortunately it's not the end, is an absolute disgrace by city government.
Not only are these projects outrageous and what they seem to be legacy projects of a mayor who's trying to desperately get them through to help his billionaire friends, but along with the Willets Point rezoning and project that's going on that is affecting the workers and the businesses, all of this seems to be very quickly hurried, very rushed, and there's no reason for it. There's absolutely no reason for it whatsoever. There's clearly no equity or no interest in protecting the public. There's no interest in protecting parkland. There's no interest in protecting jobs. There's no interest in protecting the communities that use the park, which desperately need it because they don't have their own places to have recreation. So I think it's extremely important that we keep fighting this, because if this goes through, everybody's going to end up really getting hurt from it. So I just want to say that. Thank you.
I want to call out one person, Jalissa Ferreris. For 5 years, she's a local councilman in this area. And for 5 years, she's done nothing. She stood by while her constituents are going to be evicted. She promised them deals. There's no deal. They ain't getting nothing. They're getting evicted. The community voted it down. Their community board voted it down like 31-0. And yet she still stands by this project. The Mets got this for $1. She still stands by this project. Everything is wrong with this, and she still stands by this project. And I want to know, when is she going to come out and stand for the people in her community and say, no, enough's enough, 5 years of lies, 5 years of broken promises, and do what her community has voted for her to do, and that's vote this down. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry.
I just want to be very, very, very clear. The original 1961 agreement that Robert Moses put together does not in any way allow a mall to be built on public parkland. This is a giveaway. This land does not belong to the mayor or to the related company or to Sterling. It belongs to the people of the city of New York. We are tired of these backdoor deals, and this, again, was certainly not the intention of the 1961 law, and that the city is desperately relying on to try to skirt around alienating the parkland, which is a complete disgrace. We are also calling out the elected officials who refuse to protect parkland, not just in Queens, but throughout the city. And this has to stop. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeffrey. And that's an example of how united all these different groups are. I'd like to bring up a different group now, Bettina Damiani from Good Jobs New York.
Good morning. I direct Good Jobs New York, and we keep track of how New York City allocates economic development resources. And the story that's happening today is one that we shouldn't be seeing in this country, much less in this city. What's been happening is the Bloomberg administration seems to have a smoke and mirrors attitude towards what economic development really is, and displacing small, locally owned businesses that hire people in neighborhoods and spend their money in these neighborhoods on behalf of large corporations is not economic development. And if we all might have forgotten, we all, taxpayers, spent about $800 million to help build Citi Field, which is supposed to spur economic development on its own. So if that project was such a great success, why do we all have to spend money? Why do we have to displace small businesses that are doing what they need to do every day to be part of their community? The process has not been at all led by the community, which is not news to anybody here. But this is, unfortunately, what the Bloomberg administration has been doing over and over again, not just in Queens, but in other parts of the city, where they insist that they have a broad process and a project that will help all types of folks. There are no guarantees that people in Queens are going to benefit from this project, that they're going to create good jobs for people that need them, and they're going to have taxpayers get back our money at all. So standing united with local residents and businesses, saying economic development must be for the benefit of longtime residents and businesses. That's where the conversation should start. Thank you.
Thank you, Bettina, for always standing up for business and the businesses of Willets Point. I'd like to introduce the New York City Controller, Mr. John Liu.
Thank you very much. Thank you for all being here. This is a terrible deal. Several years ago in the City Council, we put together a plan that would have been a comprehensive redevelopment for Willets Point. And even that was controversial. There were lots of compromises made. There were lots of promises made. But now, just a few years later, it seems like the promises have been thrown out the window. Promises to build affordable housing. Promises to help relocate the small business owners. Promises to keep the parkland intact. And now, this is, I'm sure it's been said already, this is the classic bait and switch. Because what we were promised by the administration is no longer. What's now remaining in this current plan that the administration would like to go forward with is but a semblance of what the original plan was. This has to be stopped. This is not right. It should not go forward. We should not be encroaching on parkland illegally against New York State law. We should not be essentially getting rid of 2,000 units of affordable housing to build a mega mall that will not only have questionable impact in the immediate area, but in the surrounding business areas, it will have a negative impact. So for all these reasons, the issues haven't even been studied well. And they're already planning to go ahead with this boondoggle of a plan that is nothing like what was promised to the community several years ago when the redevelopment plan was put together. So I want to commend all these people here. They're David's going up against Goliath. But in the end, what's right is right, and they will prevail. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, Controller Liu, for standing up for Willets Point United. I'd like to introduce Irene Presti-Como from Willets Point United.
My name is Irene Presti, and I own property at Willets Point that is threatened by the illegal and unethical deal that the Bloomberg administration has put forward to develop the Iron Triangle. That's right, the entire development was promoted by a violation of not only the not-for-profit lobbying laws of New York State, but by the brazen violation of federal law as well. In order to promote this dirty deal, the city helped to set up a phony, not-for-profit local development group headed by Claire Schulman. The group, made up of rich developers, with the names Muss, Wilpon, Matone, and TDC, was never anything but a not-for-profit, but in name only. It was put in place to advance the special interests of its real estate company members. Incredibly, New York City EDC forwarded $500,000 in taxpayer funds to finance this illegal lobbying scheme.
We stand united with our brothers and sisters in back of us. This is an outrageous deal. This is a classic 1% of the population against the 99%, the rest of us. It's clear that they're taking 30.7 acres of mapped parkland for $1, as you've heard. But it's worse than that. They're not even willing to replace that parkland, which is the tradition within New York City and New York State. The 1961 legislation, you've heard about that. The Urban Legal Center has come out and said, in their opinion, that that has no basis for building a mall, much less anything that doesn't relate to a sporting venue. And they go on to say that the agreement was that the money stayed within that sporting venue. So for these two reasons, the Jackson Heights Beautification Group supports a no vote in the City Council and the Planning Commission. Thank you very much.
We're here today to support our friends at Save Flushing Meadows Corona Park and Willets Point United. We don't want to see development of the parkland. We want to see the businesses there treated properly. Thank you.
Thank you, Henry. Next, we have Christina Wilkinson from Communities of Maspeth and Elmhurst together.
Hi, Comet represents Maspeth and Elmhurst and Winfield, which is part of Woodside. We've been opposed to this project from the beginning, since very early. We were opposed to the amount of traffic that this development would cause. We were opposed to eminent domain. and we signed resolutions to that effect. And when we informed our membership that a mall was going to be built on parkland, they were enraged. So we expect our council member, Elizabeth Crowley, to vote no on this project, and we urge the rest of the city council to do the same. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. Next, we have Michael Johnson from South Bronx United.
Thank you. I'm here from South Bronx Unite. It's an organization or a coalition that represents 51 different organizations and about 800 individuals. We're here standing in support and in solidarity of Willets Point United in their efforts to get some real decent type of development where the community input is involved. We've seen way too often these deals come from the top down that don't engage the community. We're really fighting strongly against this fresh rec relocation to the South Bronx, which is a similar type deal where you have top down, we have the mayor, the governor, and our borough president saying what's good for the community without asking or engaging the community, and trying to get fake and false type of community input, which doesn't really respectfully engage the people that are there. So we're here in solidarity with Willets Point United. We understand the struggle they're engaged in. We understand the need for a different type of a system of where our government and our elected officials believe that our word or what we feel doesn't really matter. And it's hurting the lives and livelihoods of many people. And we're just really fed up, and we're just really sad that we have to even be here today to talk about a scenario like this, because it's happening way too often. It happened at Atlantic Yards, it happened at Yankee Stadium. All we hear is promises of jobs. We have promises of what's going to do good for the community in terms of economic development, and we very rarely see any of those promises come to fruition. So we're tired of it. We're standing together, united in solidarity, and we're going to keep fighting.
Thank you, Michael. And from the Bronx back to Willets Point, we have a business owner who we want you to hear from, Marco Nera.
Good afternoon. My name is Marco Neira. I'm the president for Sunrise Cooperativa. We fight for the small business and workers in Willets Point. We are here in order to support the United Group because I see what the city does with those owners of the land, and without those owners of the land, we cannot exist as a small business in Willets Point. So we are here to let them know the city that we need respect, no matter what, because we are Hispanics, Latinos. We don't need those kind of discrimination they doing to us because they are stealing our business, they are stealing our lives, our families, but they are destroying everything to us. So we are here in order to ask them for relocation, compensation, and don't steal from us those businesses, because we spend all our lives building up this business, and now they want to destroy it in one day. That's no American way. We need respect, and we need they give it to us our rights as American people we deserve.
Next, we have Joe Artizone, who is a property owner and a business owner in Willets Point. Joe?
My name is Joseph Artizone. I'm 81 years of age. I lived at Willets Point all my life. I think, in fact I know, this is supposed to be a government by and for the people. Doesn't seem to be in this case. I wish to let everybody know that no man or any woman would give away anything that belongs to a child. That park department land belongs to the children of New York City, New York State, and the federal government. I believe what they're doing right now is totally inept. They ought to move away and turn around and just take property for public use. Not turn around and take property like they did at Flushing Commons to build a bus terminal and put all the people, after working a hard day, week, months, and years, to stand in the sidewalks to catch a bus, which clutters all the streets, and the conditions that are there right now are totally horrible. Can you imagine if they turn around and do anything in our area? it's going to be a total disgrace to the whole country. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Hi, my name is Jamie Severi. I'm the representative of business owners, almost 250 business owners in Willets Point. We just received eviction notice, which is this piece. 30 days we have time to move out of this our location, even though city and HPD do not hold their hand, their approval for this project, but we are holding our eviction in 30 days from this business. We rely on this job. We don't know where we're going to go. And the second thing is we are against this project. And if this project, if they're forced, if it's going to be approved, we need to have a relocation as a group, and we need some compensation. And we have no support here. And always we went to the media so many times, officials, they hear us, but they do nothing. All they did, they hired one agency, they call that Cornerstone, and every other day they print something from internet, they're coming to us, they are telling us there is a one business in somewhere in the middle of nowhere. We can go talk to the business owner, get a lease, pay the rent. They call that relocation, which is not. So we need somebody at least pay attention to us and be fair to us. Thank you.
See, it's always one of the most important speakers that you almost forget about. Thank you so much, Jamie. Jamie showed you the evidence. He showed you the evidence. The city is looking to put Jamie out of business, evict Jamie's family out of Willets Point for what? So they could build a parking lot to support a future mall that's not even contemplated by the administrative code? Does that make any logical sense to anyone of rational thinking? Does that make any sense? Is that the United States of America, to take someone's business, to take away land in order to do someone a favor and give them hundreds of millions of dollars? Look at this situation. Look very closely. And we ask that the city council not get bamboozled. The same way Senator Avella didn't get bamboozled a few years ago because he had the insight to see through this deal as a sham. We're asking that city council see this for what it is. This is a poison to our community, and to not let this happen. Thank you again, everyone, for coming today. Thank you. Thank you, Senator.